Welcome back, trainers. So we're going to be going over Sierra and how to beat her using specific Pokemon and techniques, much like we did Cliff, and we're also going to be getting into Arlo. Since we cannot buy the radars in the shop, I am actually going to be doing something for these specific battles, and that is going to be exiting out towards the end once I'm on that last Pokemon, because I will be able to continuously go up against different Sierras, right? As well as the same one doing different combinations. Anyways, hopping into the first one here, we're going to show you a trick, and that is going to be going in with a super effective Pokemon, switching, and then going into your next one here, freezing the Pokemon, enabling you to take as little damage as possible. Now, I went in here with the Machamp. If she did say have Lapras, you would be looking comfortable in this position here, as well as Sableye. As you can see, we're not going to hit any of those because the opponent is going to be shielding both of our attacks 2 times, right? If they did have Hypno, obviously I would have a different lineup here switching in, or I probably would have just started off with Machamp or Lucario and then went in with a dark type of some sort to go up against that Hypno. So the easiest set, I do believe, going up against Sierra is going to probably be Sneasel, Hypno, and Alakazam. That may differ from trainer to trainer depending on what Pokemon you do have, but I feel like going up against the Hypno and Alakazam is fairly easy because of the dark types resisting those psychic type moves so much. So we're able to burn off those shields now. We're going to come in here with the Togekiss and charm down that Sableye. Fairly simple. And I'm going to be going through all of these processes with different Pokemon because I know all of you may have different Pokemon powered up. Now here is the Gardevoir. Unfortunately, it does have Charge Beam. I was looking for Charm desperately, but I was not able to find it. But in which case, if you did go up against a Charm Gardevoir, I highly recommend you use possibly Melmetal with Thundershock and Flash Cannon, and also Heatran is going to be resisting Charm quite a bit, being Steel and Fire type. Alright, so take note of that. If you're trying to use your Tyranitar, it's actually going to just demolish you because of that dark typing there. And I did back out, seeing that I was clearly able to beat it at that point. I had enough energy to get off maybe even 2 Meteor Mashes, so there is the first run through. Now we're going to go ahead and take a look at another one here, starting it off with Lucario. Now you're going to want to hit those charge moves as soon as possible. You don't want to hold on to the energy like a possible real PvP match against a human, because you're going to want to enable the AI to freeze like that right here, in which we're able to finish it down, and now we can get off another charge move for when the Sableye does come in here. Alright, so obviously not going to hit those up. Now I feel like the hardest set for Sierra is going to maybe be Sneasel, Lapras, and Gardevoir with Charm. Now for this specific set, I did put a Lucario and 2 Tyranitars, seeing that I know a lot of people do have Tyranitar, so I wanted to just show you the potential of 2 of them going up against this specific set here. This is going to be the Sneasel, Sableye, and Gardevoir still. So I do a double switch after the first Pokemon did faint, the Lucario, freezing the Pokemon even longer, because at this point I don't need to switch. And we already know if this was Charm, the Tyranitars would get absolutely devastated, but we already went over the Pokemon that you should probably be using. The Alga people, I don't think you really want to use that at this point for the Charm user. Yes, the Steel is going to be helping resist it, but you're also going to be Dragon typing, so Heatran, Melmetal, things that are going to be Steel type. Metagross with Bullet Punch and Meteor Mash is also going to be fantastic to go up against that Charm Gardevoir on Sierra. So as you can see here, we had no trouble whatsoever, so we will back out because we have several crunches and another Tyranitar in the back. Easy money there. Alright, so taking a look at the next one here, we will be starting it off with Lucario. So if you do not have a Lucario, what is a good substitute? Well, that's going to be Machamp. See, it's going to be able to last longer than Lucario, but it's not going to be able to burn the shields as quick, but that's okay because it will be able to take out that Sneasel with ease, and you still will be able to burn 2 shields comfortably with that Machamp. You just have to take advantage of those pausing moments. Right after you use your charge move, the opponent's not going to attack. When they do enter in, when they throw it in like this, don't hit your charge move right away. Do a few attacks and then hit it, because they're not going to attack you right away. You have to take advantage of all these pausing moments that the AI does do. Alright, so we're just burning that last shield here, and now we're going to be able to just go to town, do a few of those counters, and then get off a power-up punch here. And we should be able to get off another power-up punch, I do believe, at this point. Alright, so a couple of counters here, and yes, we were able to get off another one. Now, at this point, what you could do is switch. It's not necessary, but it is going to pause the opponent even more. We're going to do that right now. See if I'm able to. A little too slow. Actually, I think I just said the heck with it. Alright, so down goes the Lapras, because when you do get fainted out and you bring in a new Pokemon, the opponent will freeze anyways. So in comes that Houndoom for her last Pokemon here. Now, obviously, if it did have some sort of Alakazam, you would want to go in there with dark types. Hydreigon works fantastic. Obviously, something people don't really have, but Tyranitar should fit the bill there. And Machamp does very good. Also, Swampert can handle the Alakazam as well as Houndoom. Maybe even the Gardevoir, depending on the situation. If you had energy already hoarded up there, you'll be able to spam that Gardevoir with those possible Hydro Cannons or whatever Pokemon you're using. So, there you have it for this one. We're going to be taking a look at several different ones, and at the end we're going to go in with 1500 CP Pokemon up against that Gardevoir set that we did see in the beginning there. So starting it off with the next one, we're going to be going in with the Machamp in the beginning here, just so you have an idea, because I know a lot of you have been telling me that you don't have Lucario. So here is an incidence in which, if you don't, let's take a look here. So like we previously went over, you want to hit those charge moves as soon as possible, but this is going to be a special circumstance, because as we get to our Dynamic Punch, the Weavile is actually going to be using its charge move, and then it's actually going to freeze after they use their charge move, so we don't really need to get off that Dynamic Punch at this point. We could just counter it down. Not that it really matters, because we still need to burn 2 shields, but anyways, in comes the Hypno. Now at this point you would want to switch, but we still need to burn those shields, and seeing that the Machamp does have enough energy to get off 2 Dynamic Punches, we're going to go ahead and burn those shields. Get in a few more counters there because it froze. And then another Dynamic Punch. I think we might even be able to get off a third one here. Not that it really matters. I think we might just make that switch into Darkrai immediately. Alright. So, Darkrai. I know a lot of you also may not have this thing powered up, but in which case, simply go in there with the Tyranitar. I think it'd actually be performing a little bit better than the Darkrai, to be honest. But what the Darkrai has going on for it is it's able to gain a ton of energy, and now I'm going to be able to get off a lot of those Shadow Balls. Tyranitar is used for its bite. It can basically run through the Hypno just biting. But as you can see here, the quick move on the Darkrai isn't doing as much damage, but we have a ton of energy at this point, able to get off 2 Shadow Balls. So we'll see what's at the end here after Hypno, if we're able to make use of this. And I think it's going to be Houndoom, so it's going to be resisting Shadow Ball, but that's okay. We're still going to put on damage to it. Just because we don't want to waste that energy, and I do believe we'll make a switch after this. And we don't. We continue on here. So I'm able to get off another Shadow Ball on the Darkrai. Okay. Not too sure what I was doing here. Maybe I just wanted to see how long the Darkrai can go. And it is still doing a good amount of damage to that Houndoom, seeing that the Houndoom is dark and resisting Ghost. So it looks like we were trying to make a switch. I'm not too sure exactly what happened there. That was odd. But as you can see, I did not want to finish it off because I didn't want to go and collect any more components. But we're good to go. We're able to let that Houndoom take us out here with the Machamp. And then the Metagross has full health. So I do hit the back out button. And it's simple there, right? So just go in and play with it, guys. Now we're going to be going and testing out Hariyama. You're like, well, what about Hariyama? The thing is tanky. You've seen Lucario, you've seen Machamp, let's see what Hariyama can do. Okay, let's do it. It's going to have a good moveset for sure. Counter and Dynamic Punch. I don't have a secondary move purchase on it. So I'm pretty sure this is going to require me to hit the Dynamic Punch. But we're going to have another case in which the Weavile is going to be using that charge move, freezing itself, and we're going to be able to finish it off using counters at this point. And I know I said hit the charge as soon as possible, but we did have that freeze window, so we don't really necessarily need to. In comes the Hypno, and this is going to be the same set with Houndoom at the end. I just wanted to use a different lineup just to show you what else can possibly be used for this situation here. So we still want to burn those shields, get in a few counters while it froze after we used our charge move, and then go for the other Dynamic Punch to burn the last shield here. And At this point, you can do a few counters and then make a switch. This is what I'm going to do here into Tyranitar, and we do have that Swampert in the end. Just take a look. Look at the Tyranitar, able to resist those. Fairly simple, no big deal. And the bite damage is literally what you're relying on here. Now we are going to go ahead and go for that Crunch, just for fun, I suppose. Finishing it off. So this is going to be the Hypno Alakazam set, which we were talking about earlier being the easiest set. If you do have a Tyranitar with Bite and Crunch, you'll be able to just do massive damage. Now, even if you had a Smackdown Tyranitar and at least a Crunch on it, you'll be looking good. The Smackdowns are still going to be doing a good amount of damage, as well as resisting those Psychic type moves. Now, you should still shield these up, because coming from those massively CP Pokemon, you're going to get destroyed even if you resist the moves. So now you can see why I was saying the easiest set is Hypno and Alakazam. Simply go in there with Tyranitar and you'll be able to just bite your way through it. Alright, going up against the next set here, starting it off with Machamp. I was trying to use Machamp a little bit more because I know not everybody has that Lucario, right? And a lot of us do have Machamps at this point, seeing that they are so useful lately. Not even lately, they've always been. Alright, so we're going to be shielding this up. And we're not getting off a charge at this point because it did use its charge move, enabling us to attack in a free damage window there without taking damage ourselves. In comes a Hypno, and at this point we're going to go ahead and burn those shields with all this energy we have accumulated with the Machamp, like we've seen in those previous battles here. And simple as that, and then we're just going to get a couple more counters in here and burn that last shield. Alright, so I hope this video helped you out in possibly taking out Sierra. I see a lot of you are having trouble doing so. Make sure you follow all of the tactics, especially the one that we did look at in the beginning. And we're going to go ahead and use a Smackdown Tyranitar, just so you can have an idea of how much it's going to do, or should you go in there with yours. Maybe you don't have TMs, or whatever the case may be. Maybe you have a Smackdown Tyranitar and that's the only one you had because you simply just don't have enough candies to make another one. Alright, even though that was a long time ago, maybe you did a trade, but it's still able to finish it off with Smackdown's easy money. Alright, and for the last Pokemon, it's going to be Houndoom. Now, at this point, with Smackdown, you're going to be doing super effective damage. So, you have the Crunch to hit the Psychic types, you have the Rock to hit that Fire type, so it's looking great. Stone Edge absolutely demolishes it. Honestly, at this point, right here, when I did that, I was a little upset because I didn't think it was actually going to KO it, so then I had to go out and find some more mysterious components. I was like, are you kidding me? Lovely. I want to just be able to buy them in the shop. Solely because it's enabling me to go out there and do as many of these as possible and make a tutorial. If I wanted to beat each one of these Sierras and then go find the component, that is going to take me so much time, especially playing in Anchorage. Anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at this 1500 CP here going up against that Gardevoir set that we did see in the beginning. So starting it off with Clefable with Charm, we're going to do that couple quick moves and then switch tactic that we did take a look at. So the Clefable is past half health but also accumulated energy. Going to switch into Lucario here and hit the Power Punch immediately. So we're able to freeze it, not only from when we switched, but from using our charge. So we got to take advantage of all those pauses, right? And then we're able to feint it down with quick moves. And this is even better. It used its charge move, therefore it wasn't going to be able to attack me. And now we're able to even finish it off without taking any damage whatsoever there. And we're ready to go to burn that last shield. And it's going to be a Sableye. So Sableye is going to only be weak to Fairy, but it also takes a good amount of damage from Dark as well as fighting type moves, as you'll be able to see here. So we burn that last shield and taking advantage of the pause. You don't want to get off your charge move right away after you've gotten one charge move off. And we're going to hit that Power Up Punch, get in a few more counters here. Our switch clock is ready to go, so we're going to go ahead and do this Power Up Punch. I think I might switch here into Togekiss and feint it down, or I might just let the Lucario go down by doing... Do I switch? Yes, I make the switch. As you can see, I still have 3 Pokemon. Pokemon does freeze on her end, and we're going to be able to charm it down. Now Gardevoir is in the back. Watch what we can do here. Get to the Meteor Mash, which is going to be super effective. Steel type against the Fairies. And we're just going to obviously let this Clefable faint down because we cannot switch at this point. In which we're going to go in there with the Spylus, I do believe. So it was fun using the Spylus. I did purchase that secondary move a couple days ago, put the rare candies into it. 75,000 Stardust. Oof. But it's such an awesome Pokemon for PvP. As you can see, the bite damage is doing a significant amount. Just absolutely tearing it apart. We do have our last shield here. We're looking great. And she's going to be getting off that Shadow Ball. And at this point, we could almost finish it down with Bite. I was feeling a little frisky, but I just went for the Body Slam. I wasn't going to risk that. And that's pretty much it for this. So if you did enjoy this tutorial, please give it a big thumbs up. Let me know in the comments if there's anything else that I should have covered or you would like me to cover going forward onto Arlo. So thank you for watching, trainers. And yes, I feel sick still and I sound a little funny. I pushed myself too hard last week. Simple as that. But making a speedy recovery, trying at least. But I got to take it easy. So with that said, hopefully you enjoyed this video, helped you out, and I'll be catching you all next time. Take care.